Did Jeffrey rise from the dead again? While almost everyone's talking about the halftime show with Bad Bunny, a candy company that directs its marketing towards children used someone who looks just like Epstein. We'll get into a lot more stuff in just 1 minute, but I mean, you have to be kidding me. They could have chose anyone else in the world, but a guy who looks exactly like Jeff. Again, candy commercial, which is aiming at children.
Is he?
I mean, he tries to kiss me on the lips.
No.
But
Everywhere that we go.
listen, I'm not.
I eat children. How old are you?
12.
Oh, okay. Only to 10.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? If you guys are brand new here, you guys don't know what we do, don't worry, I'm gonna break it down for you guys. We talk about the most scariest and creepiest videos on the net, on the web, that's gonna make us question everything. Let's do what we do best, seekers. Say a word for y'all. Let's seek the truth.
Biggest streamer in the world sell their soul.
It's something most people don't notice. As I mentioned before, Casanat is making a transition. Here he is in Paris for Fashion Week since his promo of the new brand Vivet. Now the outfit he wears doesn't look the same, but similar to an outfit upcoming artist David wore and sold on his website before his incident. That year, David also has strong connections to Paris during Fashion Week. Now the patterns is what continues to show themselves. You see here David doing the one-eye symbolism, the all-seeing eye. Kai has been showing the same patterns even before all this started. Now, if you remember, this is from his old profile picture on his Instagram. The vow of silence, the one-eye symbolism, and even what we see here. The horned hand, the monocornudo. Even on his arm, you see the see no evil, and you're going to turn a blind eye to the evil that's going on. It's similar to his recent Vivet design. See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. Now, if you still think that's not enough, he recently met up with one of the final bosses of fashion, Laura Roach. Laura Roach is a powerhouse in the Paris fashion industry, and now Kai has him as a stylist and coach. As you can see, even with this character, the patterns don't change. One-eye symbolism. One-eye symbolism. Okay, so this is my final connection. Laura Roach and Michelle Lamy are both iconic figures in the fashion industry who maintain a close professional and personal relationship. Michelle Lamy is frequently seen at events hosted by Laura Roach. July 2025, she was a notable guest at Roach's 47th birthday celebration at the hotel in Paris. Laura Roach even has been spotted at exclusive parties hosted by Rick Owens. And if you don't know about Michelle and Rick Owens, you should watch my other video on it, Birds of a Feather. So you might choose to ignore this. The characters might change, but these patterns always stay the same.
Bro, tell me down below, man. Let's end this debate once for all. Did Kai sell his soul, bro? Tell me what you think, man. I know a lot of people do. I guess ever since he started his brand, but people saying he's been moving differently. Debate it down below. I don't think he did, though, but that's the moth, man. Staring.
Alright y'all, I have to share with you one of my most requested videos. I posted this back at the end of 2023, and what happened in this video was an unidentified man, a witness, had saw something that he couldn't explain. A being, a female being, walking down the pier, and he had no idea what it was. It had pointed ears, walking on tiptoe, and no, to those who said maybe she came from a cosplay or something like that, there was nothing like that going on, nor in that little town do they have stuff like that. It literally looks like this creature came out of the water and was going back to the water. But the question is, what was she? Was this a person in costume? Or is this something else? And keep in mind, this was captured back before AI was a thing. So back in 2023, before AI blew up, and now we have to question everything. What did he capture? Take a look, comment below, tell me what you think.
Okay, let's check it out. The hell is that? I guess it ain't coming from no cosplay party. Whoa.
suck babies' blood. And put it on my face.
I eat children. How old are you? 12. Oh, okay. Only to 10.
What are you pushing into the skin?
Well, you push in whatever the facialist would like to insert into your pores.
But what is it?
It is an extraction from a piece of skin that came from a young person far, far away, and they somehow figured out how to extract.
It's foreskin from a Korean baby. That's what it is.
The elite showing you Satan's pentagram at the opening ceremony for the Olympics tells you who runs this world. Just yet another satanic Olympic opening ceremony. The synagogue of Satan uses the inverted pentagram because it puts spirit at the bottom. And this is the symbolism in which they worship Satan. Now, pentagrams represent all 5 elements: spirit, water, fire, earth, and air. The inverted satanic pentagram puts spirit at the bottom. This is quite literally this satanic order where they prioritize the physical aspects of this reality over the divine or God. We're talking the exact symbol that they use in the Church of Satan at the front door, at the gate of the Olympics. They make it so obvious that they're the ones that are controlling everything, that they worship Satan. All these things that have been coming out recently and exposing what's really been going on. Is this really a surprise to any of you guys?
Nope.
Symbolism rules our world, and you need to decipher these codes in order to understand who controls things. What's going on behind the closed doors? The shadows are now coming to light, and we, the people, will light up the darkness. Peace and love.
Did Jeffrey rise from the dead again? While almost everyone's talking about the halftime show with Bad Bunny, a candy company that directs its marketing towards children used someone who looks just like Epstein. We'll get into a lot more stuff in just 1 minute, but I mean, you have to be kidding me. They could have chose anyone else in the world but a guy who looks exactly like Jeff. Again, candy commercial, which is aiming at children. And even the way he's like dressing, they literally mimicked exactly what he looks like. Remember, we're talking about the guy who ordered 300 gallons of sulfuric acid, and we saw it in the drops. What in the world could someone use that for? Come on now. Then to put this garbage right in front of our face. Well, hold on. Not mine. I don't watch this. They already made it in court a while back. It was fake. It's always a homage. By the way, completely unrelated. Tell me in the comments what color her shoes are right here. Lady Gaga. For those who don't know what sulfuric acid does, it dissolves anything, and I do mean anything. And of course, Jay-Z comes out of hiding. Birds of a feather flock together. You know, here's the real question. When they pay homage to people like that, like the Grammys and the Olympics, what do you think these people are doing with all the energy they conjure up from the fiction trying to get your energy? Why don't you do a boycott? Let me know.
Brian is the famous artist, and we always make fun of each other and portray each other in silly, satirical ways.
Theo, as you know, is the latest, hottest, hunkiest teen idol there is.
Yeah. Is he?
I mean, he tries to kiss me on the lips.
No, listen, I'm not gonna
act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
So how you been, man? I've been seeing you so long. How much did we drink?
2 men from that set began sexually abusing me. I thought a lot about that. I thought a lot about how these predators have some sort of sixth sense for vulnerable kids.
How do you even build a child molesting robot?
What you do is you start by building a regular robot, then you molest it and hope that it continues the cycle.
Today's episode of Random White Acts of Danger, we have Exploring with the Special White Breed ND. And immediately you're going to see free will is so crazy because you don't got to do all this. Red Bull nowhere in sight, so why is looking for vibes? Fear unlocked. Thalassophobia is dark. Bring me back up, gangster. Why would you think I wanted to come with you? Are you insane? Like, nah, boy, that's got to be what hell look like. Oh, that's really the unknown. We don't know what could be down there. And you just stepped off the edge into what looks like guaranteed death. What if a fish just drag you to the bottom? Or like a mermaid? Aliens? I believe in all that shit. Look how dark and how fast it get dark. Boy, my hands is sweating. I'm happy you did this for us, though, so now I never have to ever do this. But it's like, I'm almost mad you brought me with you. Like, I wish you just kept the camera here and I could have let you disappear. But when I'm disappearing with you, it's like a jump scare is on the way. It doesn't even need to be no jump scare because I'm already about to have a heart attack. It's pitch black down in the fucking water. You doing this by choice? Oh, yeah, man. Special white breed indeed. Definitely why I be rocking with white people, though, because, like, a lot of shit would not get discovered without them. Like, I wouldn't be able to enjoy cave exploring, moving, grooving, vibing, sliding, flying through the air, pitch black dives. Without Shoka, I'm not doing that. But, like, I can feel enjoyment through the screen. A little bit of fear and a little bit of, like, why? Do you not like your life? But you know what I'm saying? I'm entertained. I appreciate you. Already know. Ready, outro?
Not me. That's crazy. It's black, bro.
So you're telling me that this whole time, the way I lay in bed actually matters? And that my sleep position affects more than just comfort? You motherfuckers. Tell me you didn't see this coming. Even lying on your back. Energy, hormones, guts still takes a beating. Oh, wow. Now the hugger position, teddy bear position is making more sense to me. What about you?
I ain't big on theories or nothing like that, but this one don't make sense. He told us about how he came up and fame and all that, but he ain't really tell us how he came up, like grew up and shit like that. For example, you go on Google and try to find out who this man's parents are, you cannot find a trace.
Really?
I'm about to pull it up right now. Nah, this is Wikipedia. That's all. That's all you gonna find on Wikipedia. Go search for yourself. This is some random site. Little is known regarding Orlando Brown's parents and family. Like what? Another site. Where is his parents from? There is no information regarding where Orlando Brown's parents is from. And it keeps going. Cherry on top, father, mother, TBA. They do not know. Like, bro, can somebody let me know who this man's parents is? Like, or is this man like government made or something? Like, and he just broke out the Matrix or some shit.
Have you ever wondered why when rockets take off, they never maintain their trajectory going straight up? They always curve. Now, I'm not saying we're in a dome, but when you watch this video, if you take into account what it mentions in Genesis, which is that we're under a firmament, the earth is strong in its foundations and it will not be moved. That's the opposite of what NASA says, by the way. Apparently we're moving at a bajillion miles an hour, hurtling through the sky, and it's absolutely wild up there. And there's space and aliens. Listen, so when this rocket gets to a certain height, it's going to look like it smacks onto a body of water. It literally looks like ripples in water. Now, apparently the firmament is not water. Look at that. What did it hit? The atmosphere? It went through different densities of air and freaking... What is that? So it's not that there's necessarily water up there. It gets to a point where it's like a jelly-like ether. And then above that are the waters above the firmament. At least that's what it says in Genesis. So don't argue with me. Now, the crazy part that is not mentioned in this video, and you realize too, if we have been fibbed to about the true shape of this realm, that would be the biggest lie ever. And everything else would come crumbling down and would be exposed if we found out the shape of the earth is not quite what they said.
Yep.
So the question is, are all of our ancestors, which were building things, magnificent structures, living organically, they had advanced knowledge, they also believed it was flat. So were they all wrong? They were right about building and ancient knowledge and whatnot, but they were wrong about the shape. They got it wrong. The shape is actually a ball. People used to think the earth was flat. Yes, every single advanced, the Mayans, the Egyptians, carvings in stone, flat. But the crazy part is if it's flat, what the Sam damn are we on, dude? I know you're already thinking that. Well, we got lands past the ice wall. Maybe it goes on for infinity, man. But it's definitely, likely, in my opinion, not a ball hurtling through space. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below and follow for more.
You guys team flat earth or team round, bro? And these flat earth theories, bro. It's starting to convince me more and more, man.
Don't believe that people can shapeshift into you. They can jump into your body and they can act like you. You know how like some people astral project into your lives and they get to see what's going on in your home. They can see what you're doing in actual real time. There's people that can jump into your body and take over you and pretend to be you. Y'all remember the movie Princess and the Frog? And y'all remember Shadow Man? And y'all remember how the prince homeboy, he wanted to be him so bad. And so he had made a deal with Shadow Man to be him. And you see how he was walking all around town and he was the prince and people believe that he was the prince. You ever had somebody be like, oh, I seen you the other day over here? Like, no, that wasn't me. People can really shapeshift into you and walk around this town and walk around your neighborhood and act like they are you. Y'all gotta be aware.
If you can't see, you are just blind. Watch this.
Hey, anybody order a pizza?
Give me my baby joy.
What? And now listen this.
How was the pizza? Was it good? Was he making it? Mom's pizza was better than Clue's.
Oh.
Everybody made it a certain kind of pizza.
There's no pizza we didn't love.
Tom Hanks was just beyond nice. You know, when we were filming Cloud Atlas, he would put on a Sunday movie night, and we would all go and kick it back at his house, watch a movie, and he'd order a load of pizzas.
Why? Why it's always pizza?
I hate pizza.
You hate pizza?
I know.
It was a blast. And I just have two questions. One is that why celebrities are so much obsessed with that one thing? It's always the pizza. And number two is that in these emails of Epstein files, they mentioned pizza over 900 times. 900 times. And this photo is very weird. And still nobody talking about that. Tell me what you all think about that.
D4BD friend just got arrested, y'all. Shit getting real. This just a little update on David, y'all, because no one been talking about it lately. But they arrested his friend because they summoned this man to appear in court and he didn't come. That man said, I will not cooperate. He doing what a lot of rappers don't do, keeping his mouth closed. So I seen people talking about he was guilty. Nah, he not guilty. He just didn't come to court. But it do makes David seem a little guilty. Because if you didn't do nothing, you should have told your man, like, hey, go ahead, go to court, fool. Vouch for me, fool. But like I said, it's making everything seem a little suspicious. I'm so lost in this court case, I didn't even know that they were doing court already. I didn't even know. My whole thing is, why is this man D4BD still not arrested yet? They saying they got all this evidence now, but he's still not arrested. But you did arrest his friend though. And I need y'all to keep it real down below in the comments. If this was you, are you going to court cooperating or you going to keep it on a hush-hush too? Let me know down below in the comments.
Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Robert Kelly, Sean Combs have one person in common, professionally and privately. Sean Carter. This has been a fist of tyranny that has been punching through our culture and our society for decades.
must stop.
They're saying that Meta is trying to keep people alive online after they die. You heard what I just said? They want to use an AI to post as you after you die. Meta just secured a patent for AI that can manage a deceased person's account. Not memorize, not freeze it. We're talking about running a deceased person's account, posting on it, replying to messages, even making videos using historical data. So let me get this straight. You die, but your profile doesn't. This AI uses your past posts, your DMs, your voice notes, your captions, your behavior patterns. This thing studies how you talk, how you joke, how you argue, and then it replicates you. They're calling this innovation, but I'm calling this digital resurrection without your consent. I want you to go back. Remember when celebrities were signing deals with Meta? Selling their likenesses for AI. That wasn't random. All that tells me is they've been building this the whole entire time. And here's the part that's crazy as hell. Go down the rabbit hole. Find out what meta means in Hebrew. Meta in Hebrew means dead. But it's a conspiracy, right? See, what it is, you don't think symbolism matters to these people. It matters. So now imagine this. Your grandmother passes away, right? Her account start posting memories, commenting back, messaging family. Is that comfort? Or is that training humanity to normalize AI replacing us? You do the math. The real question you have to ask is, who owns your identity when you're gone? Your family or AI?
That is insane, bro, that we even had to have this discussion. But now that he put this in the works, man, who knows how many accounts, bro, still gonna be operating even though the owner's not here. I didn't even know that Meta was doing deals where celebrities were signing away their likeness. So they sign away their soul for a check.
Is the reason downloadable content and microtransactions ruin gaming. Why?
Wait, how? How the hell did he create that?
He was the one that came up with the idea, and it came out all in Epstein files.
Yeah?
He was writing an email to the makers of Call of Duty, talking about you have to start introducing microtransactions into these games. Okay. You'll be very profitable. That's why we have microtransactions today, and that's why gaming is ruined. Oh, this guy's the actual devil.
Yeah,
Why
would he do that?
That means like they can make more money.
Yeah, like
everything,
like guns and all that.
Okay, the maps. Yeah. DLC was him. Okay. Microtransactions, everything was him.
Wait.
So we wouldn't have Nuketown if it wasn't for Jimmy.
That's what I'm saying, bro. You wouldn't have Nuketown. Fortnite would not be a big
Fortnite
game.
would not be a big
Fortnite
game
nothing without that.
Now, but Nuketown came out like as a regular map, right? No, it's DLC. No, Black Ops.
Oh, yeah, right. No, I got Fortnite. I got you.
So now
So he made freaking microtransactions, bro. How deep does that damn rabbit hole go, man? He's connected with a whole lot of freaking powerful people, man. Creators of Call of Duty, so that's why freaking microtransactions. I read a little bit of messages saying it was addicted, knowing kids would just buy into it. Wow.
No, the real reason why Epstein wasn't into black girls the way that he was into his own, because he had other plans for our people. Have y'all seen this, bro? Epstein emails expose disturbing parties for hunting black people. Yeah, I cannot make this shit up if I wanted to, man. Look at what Jeffrey Epstein said. It says, going to Milano's party now to hunt. And guess what? There, right over here, y'all see that? And one of the most powerful families in the world, the Rothschild, replied to it saying, thanks, thrilling hunt. So with movies like The Hunger Games, they were literally telling us what they were doing to our people. You really think they're doing this to their own? Peep this, y'all. The movie is called The Hunger Games Mockingjay. J, the letter J. If you know your history correctly, the oldest languages in the Bible didn't have the letter J in it. It was the letter Y for Yah, meaning God. So they're literally telling us they are mocking God. And who is God? Come on, y'all already know. Stop playing. And once again, y'all, when it comes to me, I let my numbers do the talking for me. Because men lie, women lie, but numbers don't. The movie is called The Hunger Games, and it gives you the number 42. Do you know how relevant the number 42 is, y'all? Look up the number 42 and how it's associated with our people specifically. Hold on, you don't have to. Let me show y'all. Epstein hunting? Bro, I'm not playing with y'all. These movies have been telling us for quite some time. Ever since they set foot on our land, this is exactly what they've been doing. How do you think they've been keeping our people underneath this spell? They are literally mocking us right here on our place, bro. And they're literally telling us, this is nothing new. Why would they do this to their own? Now you really understand why over 1 million black women and children go missing every single year. Because of this head honcho over here. Y'all, when y'all gonna wake up? It's 2026, man. When are y'all gonna wake up and stop sleeping with the enemy? And everybody's asking the same question now. What did we do to y'all? What did we do to y'all? Let me know down in the comments below, y'all. The shit is here. Let's continue to get it. Peace in. You see her smiling? You see her smiling? You see that? See that? You see, you got the black body, you got the chocolate insides, right? You got the black woolly afro hair. Yeah. Because this is what they look like, right? This is what they look like. Y'all better wake up, man. The shit is here. Let's continue to get it. Peace in.
Facts that you wish you never knew.
Okay.
Part 21. This photo shows an 8-month-old Xiao Bao who was lucky to be alive because his mother stabbed him 90 times after he bit her while she was breastfeeding him. The world's scariest haunted house, McCamey Manor, requires you to sign a 40-page waiver and undergo a physical and mental evaluation.
Ooh.
If you manage to make it through the house, you could win $20,000.
Free money?
But to this day, no one has ever made it through. Roman Emperor Nero had a boy castrated, dressed him up as a bride, and married him, all because the boy looked similar to his previous dead wife. A 46-year-old man found and attacked a 13-year-old boy because the kid was killing him too many times in a game of Call of Duty.
What the hell in COD?
This
Come
is
on,
what
be
your
better.
poems actually mean. Put your hands together and analyze which line pattern you have. Number
Okay.
1, if your left-hand line is lower, this means you're independent and don't care what other people think of you. You keep your opinion to yourself, which is why you'll become wise one day. Number 2, if your left-hand line is higher, it means you're a super adventurous person. You're extremely confident and don't need to rush into relationships. And you can become anything because you're super independent.
Really?
Number 3, if your lines are the same, this means you're strong-minded and charming. You're gentle, sensitive, and care what other people think.
Okay, Seekers, what line do you have? I'm number 3. Mine's matched, so I think I have some of those qualities he has. But tell me down below, man. You guys 1, 2, or 3 when it comes to the palm lines, bro. I'm definitely in the middle. So it's just the facts we learned today. Tap in with us. What? An oil? People have to be better, man. Plain and simple.
3 facts that could save your life, part 4. If you ever disturb a wasp's nest, don't run for the water. The wasps are so smart they'll wait for you to resurface and then continue to sting you. If you're ever buried in an avalanche, you must spit. Your saliva will follow the gravity and you can dig the opposite way, making it easier to get out. Do you ever struggle in school, especially in math? All you have to do is take a picture of your math problem, and GothMath shows you exactly step by step on how it got the answer and the answer itself. Just in case your teacher is extremely annoying with asking you to show your work. The link is in my bio and it's completely free.
I need to hit that up, man, if I ever have some problems with math. That got me through a couple of rough times and some rough spots in math. I highly recommend it, man. See my husband on 1 or more occasions, bro, especially when it came to math. We all been there.
How rare is your body? Only 5% of people have blonde hair, and the most common hair in the world is black. And only 7% of the world is capable of tickling themselves. And 25% of people automatically sneeze when they look up at the sun. And
Really?
only 1% of people have vitiligo. This is a skin condition which allows areas to lose pigment, which causes them to become different colors. And 20% of people have one pupil bigger than the other. And 91.6% of people have a clockwise hair whorl.
This boy claimed he remembered his past life until his parents discovered he wasn't lying. A Syrian boy named Arius was born with a particular red birthmark on his face. As soon as he could speak, he explained to his parents that he had already lived another life as a different man, claiming he was actually murdered with an axe by his own neighbor. Turns out, a man had actually gone missing in their village years earlier, and the neighbor was the prime suspect. So Arius and his parents went to the neighbor's house to find out the truth.
When the neighbor opened the door, he turned white as a ghost, claiming he was innocent. But Arias demanded the neighbor come with him, because he knew where his body was actually buried. Arias led them miles from the village to a specific spot under a tree, and they began digging. They found a skull that was cracked exactly where Arias' birthmark was. Everyone was shocked, and the neighbor was later arrested.
That's a plain case of reincarnation. That's what it sounds like to me, man. That's my first time, I guess, seeing like full hardcore evidence of it. He knew exactly where it was at. He remembered. That's like all the freaking yeah. Sounds like reincarnation. What comes around, it's gonna come back to you, man. You think you get away with something? The energy's gonna come back and get you. We learning today, Seekers.
The rarest human mutations that actually exist. About 25% of people have photic sneeze reflex, which means they can sneeze just by looking up at the sun. And about 3% of the population have no odor at all. Now, 80% of people have lines that form an M on their palm, and many people believe this is a sign of good fortune. However, 4% of people have an X on their palm, which means they'll become great leaders.
Most unusual places in the world. Located in Quebec, Canada, this forest has a pretty creepy atmosphere. It might be because the ground looks like it's moving, making it seem like Mother Earth is taking a deep breath.
Ooh.
This next one is actually terrifying. Located in Penang, Malaysia, this huge water tornado was getting extremely close to this apartment building. Fortunately, it stopped right in front of the building because it ran out of water. And how about this one? It used to be a hiking area before it got flooded, so everything you see here used to be above water. Imagine being a fish and seeing this appear out of nowhere.
Call them out down
Things
below.
that almost no human can do. Number 1, this requires very flexible fingers, and only 3% of people can do it.
I can do
This
it.
is known as the paralyzed finger trick, and only 1% of people can do it. First, place your hand on the table and then bend your middle finger like that. Now try lifting your ring finger off the table. Number 3, this is where you raise one eyebrow like this guy, and only 5% of people can do it. Number 4, this is where you make a V shape with your hand like this, and only 3% of people can do it. Now comment which one you can do.
1 and 3. I can't do the eyebrow like The Rock. That's his signature,
Creepy
right?
fact you didn't know about. This sound is just a cat meowing. Sadly, the cat died after the video of it meowing was recorded.
Ooh.
The owner slowed it down and made this an audio. If you don't believe me, speed it up.
You've heard that audio a couple of times. Now we know that's a cat meowing. It's
Be
creepy.
careful what you put in your body. In 2014, a couple returned to their home to find it trashed in baffling ways. There was lotion all over the door handles, all of their shoes had had their soles ripped off of them, and someone had dumped an entire can of paint all over the toilet.
Really?
Despite the obvious break-in, the police come and can't find any evidence of theft, so they leave thinking the couple's not in danger anymore. That night, the couple hears scratching underneath their bed and what sounds like a crying animal. Not wanting to find out what it was, they leave and call the cops, who come right back and start investigating the house.
Smart.
They make a startling discovery in their bedroom. Wedged underneath the couple's bed was this 90-pound tiny little woman carrying a huge butcher's knife and a hypodermic needle. As they're taking this crazy lady away in handcuffs, one of the officers comes over to the couple and is like, so she was high on meth, and for at least 2 hours, she had been burrowing a hole in the underside of your mattress with that knife to get to you.
Disturbing body facts that will ruin your day. When you get a kidney transplant, they actually leave your original kidney in your body, and they place your third kidney in your pelvis.
Whoa.
And if you wake up because of a loud bang sound, you might actually have exploding head syndrome. It's not painful, but the sensation can be super terrifying. And according to brain surgeons, the brain is not solid at all. It's usually compared to the texture of melted butter. And during your lifetime, you will produce enough saliva to fill up 2 Olympic-sized swimming pools.
Damn,
Things almost no humans can do, part not sure, and if you can, then you're bloody weird. This is where you raise one eyebrow like The Rock. And only 5% of humans can actually do this.
Can't, not
Go on
me.
this video if you can do it.
I can't.
This might be the most brutal way somebody has ever died, and whatever you do, don't look up the picture.
I won't.
Octavio de Silva was a 20-year-old soccer referee in Brazil, and on June 30th, 2013, he was refereeing a soccer game when he sent off a player named Josmir Santos Abreu, who was 31 years old. He refused to leave the field and began a fight with the referee. Abreu threw a punch which made Octavio draw a knife from his pocket and repeatedly stab Abreu. Abreu died on the way to the hospital, and when fans watching the game, including Abreu's family and friends,
found out about his death, they invaded the field and stoned Octavio before decapitating him, and then ripping his limbs from his body with just their strength and no weapons, and then put his head on a stick in the middle of the field. And what makes this worse is that a graphic video surfaced online shortly after the incident, showing medical personnel reassembling Octavio's body. The video and pictures are extremely disturbing, and I don't recommend looking them up. The way his limbs looked after being ripped off is extremely unsettling to look at, because you see strings of flesh, tissue, and bone because it wasn't cut off properly and it was just ripped off. This case is absolutely awful, but why did Octavio pull out a knife when somebody just punched him? If he didn't stab Hosmer or Abreu to death, he would still be alive today. But just imagine being literally ripped limb from limb by an angry group of soccer fans, and there's nothing you can do as they pull your body apart.
One of you is going to end up dead.
Crazy case.
This is a chilling statement that friends of this couple made prior to a horrifying turn of events. On the 25th of March 2022, 24-year-old OnlyFans model Abigail White killed her boyfriend. She stabbed Bradley Lewis through the heart with a kitchen knife when he told her he wanted to finish the relationship. When police arrived at the scene, but she quickly confessed. She said that she'd never meant to hurt him. Abigail was found guilty of murder and sentenced to 18 years in prison. Shockingly, despite being in prison, she has been able to find a new boyfriend on the outside.
And the people on the outside in, man, they called it. They said that relationship was going to end bad. Like, sometimes, man, we got to heed people's advice because they can see things that we just can't see. We think they're overreacting, but she hit the nail on the head. And look what happened. Another crazy case.
I thought that I had seen everything when it came to cults, but you are not prepared for what this cult believes. So HBO just released this documentary about the Love is One cult, which was run by this woman, Amy Carlson, who calls herself Mother God. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but she believed she was controlled by the spirit of Robin Williams, and this yassified version of Saint Germain. Also, I cover a lot of dark stuff on this page, so you should follow along. She also said she could channel and get advice from this galactic federation of dead celebrities. There's Mr. Rogers, Carrie Fisher, Steve Irwin, and randomly Donald Trump, who is not dead. But Robin Williams is at the top, and so the cult believes they're getting a lot of advice through Robin Williams, so they'll say things like, so one of the beliefs that this cult has is that one day Robin Williams is going to arrive in a spaceship to take Mother God away so that she can spiritually ascend. He also told her that she can only be 103 pounds to get on the spaceship, which is why she's trying to lose a lot of weight. Eventually, Mother God starts getting sicker and sicker, and also bluer and bluer because of the colloidal silver supplements they won't stop giving her, and everyone thinks, oh my god, Robin Williams must be coming on a spaceship really soon to help Mother ascend. Eventually, she passes away, and guess what? Shockingly, Robin Williams does not descend in an intergalactic spaceship to come collect the 103-pound body of Mother God.
You don't say.
And so the cult members just have her body. They don't know what to do with it. They thought Robin Williams was going to come. So they hang out with it for 12 days until the police finally show up. Anyways, this whole thing is a trip. You just gotta watch it to believe it.
So they was hanging out with that body for 12 days. Man, when they deep into that, when they deep into their groups and their cult things, man, they believe anything and everything. That's just a prime example. Man, I wonder how many other crazy things out there that people believe. I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole. Call out the edits, man, when y'all see him.
Imagine being an animal so vile and wild. Not only did you traumatize a researcher, everything he learned about you had to be hidden from the public for almost 100 years. That's what happened to George Murray Levick. He was on an expedition in 1911 when he ran into a group of Adelie penguins. It was the largest colony on Earth, and since nobody had ever spent a whole breeding cycle there, George decided to be first. Oh, he f***ed around, and he spent 3 months finding out. What he found out was Adelie penguins are 50 shades of foul play. No pun intended, maybe. He watched a male penguin's attempt to mate with literally anything, including other males, injured females, and even unsupervised penguin chicks. Now, but what really messed him up was watching a male score with a past tense, past expiration date female. Apparently, penguins aren't above self-service because he also witnessed one male get it on with an extra curvy piece of snowdrift.
to completion. He was so appalled, he referred to them as hooligan cocks. And remember, this was 1911. That had to be some kind of slur. George quickly realized that if male penguins understand consent, they could not care less about it, because he reportedly watched one female that was too injured to walk try to crawl away, only for two hooligans to catch up to her and demoralize both her and George. I don't even know why he did this, because like, what more do you have to prove? But at one point he did an experiment where he took the frozen decapitated head of a penguin and put it on a pile of snow just to see how low the flightless felons could go. The answer was low enough. George put every messed up thing he learned in a manuscript, and the British Museum of Natural History decided history was exactly what his studies would be when they vaulted it, until it was rediscovered almost 100 years later in 2012. All that trauma, and he didn't even live to see it get published. But the worst part, these are Adelie penguins. Yep, it all adds up in the end.
He's the world.
The thing that got to me is, man, he did all this research, he wrote it down, I guess, to try to tell everybody, but they just decided to vault it, and then now got released. Like, when they decided we should learn those things, that makes you question, man, what else they vaulted that they deemed that we're not ready to learn yet. A lot of information out there. Just something to think about.
Smallest prisoner, you'll never guess the terrible things he's done. Part 2. Caroline saw a 5-year-old son stood in front of the oven, his face full of shock and confusion. He tried to explain, but his words were slurred, and he could only give bits and pieces. Caroline and her husband immediately realized that their son had inadvertently shut his sister in the oven, and that he had turned on the oven's heat. Caroline rushed to the oven and quickly opened the door. The heat from the oven hit her, and she saw the tiny figure. Her skin blackened by the heat already dying, she hurriedly grabbed out her daughter and rushed to the car with her husband, driving as fast as she could to the hospital along the way.
Damn.
Caroline and her husband's hearts hung in their throats. They kept praying that their daughter would pull through. However, their world completely collapsed when the doctors told them that the child could not be saved. Due to the severity of her injuries, the incident left the Ashley family in deep grief.
Worst ways people have died, part 1. In 2016, a mother pushed her son on a swing for 2 days straight, non-stop, until he passed away.
What?
It turns out that sadly, she was mentally ill and was then sent to a mental institution. In 2018, a man named Keno Butler and his wife, Wendy Thompson, were drinking when they started having an argument. Wendy then attacked him with a knife and got him in the hand with it. But she didn't stop there. She then decided to jump on top of him, smothering him with over 300 pounds of body fat and sadly suffocating him. Before I tell you the last one, your boyfriend or girlfriend falls off a cliff with $20 billion. You can only save one. Who are you saving?
Girlfriend, man, easy choice.
Let me know down below. In 2021, Karina Smith had discovered that her own husband had been being very inappropriate with their children when they were younger. You won't believe this. She then filled a pot with boiling hot sugar water and dumped it on him while he was sleeping. He didn't survive that painful revenge.
Most Scary Urban Legends, Part 6. This is Krasu. She's a Thailand legend. She's a female spirit who wanders the fields at night. At first you would just see her face, until you look down and she has no body, and just her internal organs. Her guts are usually covered with fresh red blood. Her face appears to look somewhat like a vampire's. She has very sharp teeth, and sometimes has a blue halo around her head. She is always hungry for meat, whether that be animal meat or human meat. Before she goes hunting, she hides her headless body somewhere safe, and she needs to come back to it before sunrise. And then she becomes a normal person again for the day with no differences from anybody else. One of her origins was that she was a princess who was forced to marry a high-ranked Seminese member who killed her people in battle. But she loved somebody else and was caught with them by the Seminese member. She was then sentenced to be burned alive. She then asked the witch for help, who summoned a spell on her immune to fire, but the spell worked too late, and everything was burned besides her internal organs and head.
What do you guys think? The guys believe those urban legends, man?
These are 8 horrifying facts that will probably keep you up at night. When
go.
Apollo 11 landed, it only had 20 seconds of remaining fuel. 4 months ago, a deceased rapper by the name Gunyu had his corpse on stage while fans were partying around his body. The average person wastes 5 months of their lives waiting for red lights to turn green. Cruise ships have morgues, just in case someone, you know, during the trip. If you have red eyes after swimming, it's not from chlorine. It's from the chlorine mixing with other people's urine. The furthest part of the ocean from land is Point Nemo. If you get stuck there, you're not coming back. Sunburn are your cells dying to avoid being cancerous. Most laugh tracks and shows are people from the 50s, which means you're hearing the laughter of dead people. Yeah, there's a lot more, like for part 14.
What he said about Point Nemo, man. Now that I'm thinking about it, was Nemo with the move, is that based off that point? You guys know, man, our movies and medias, now that I've been watching these videos with you guys, they're really based off of like some horrifying stories. That's something to keep in mind. And the thing about Gruner, I didn't even believe about that until I guess this video confirmed it. I remember seeing it trending, but I assumed it was fake. Why on stage though? Edit. We've been doing this, man. We can spot them out.
Disturbing facts that will ruin your life. If you were to be pulled into a black hole, the point of gravity from your head to your toes is so powerfully different that the closer you get, they start to stretch and pull apart.
Ooh.
It's called spaghettification. A body can swell to 3 times the normal size, especially if a person passes away in a bathtub. In the 1800s, photographing posed dead bodies was a very normal practice. The smell of vomit actually comes from butyric acid, as does the smell of Parmesan cheese.
Ooh.
If you shine a flashlight or smartphone on a newborn sea turtle for too long, it will start crawling around in circles, known as the ring of death. It means that the turtle's eyesight has been permanently damaged due to mistaking your lights for the moon that guides it to sea. By doing this, you have doomed that sea turtle to death right after birth. The bacteria in gingivitis is contagious. Be careful who you kiss. Armadillos can carry leprosy and pass it on to humans just by being in proximity. When it comes to heart disease, sometimes the very first symptom is sudden death, meaning you could be perfectly healthy and drop dead because you had heart disease and did not know it. The wondrous smell you get while cutting grass is actually a chemical distress signal. You're smelling the silent screams of your lawn. The outside of your eye prevents your immune system from ever knowing about the inside of your eye. If a puncture allows the two to meet, your immune system may attack and destroy your eye as the invader. Hit the plus sign if you want to learn more facts.
This is
Top in with us, you learning.
I've ever heard, and it ended up being true. But in Canada, there was this legend that one night a bunch of people saw a bright blue light in the sky, and the next day, an entire village of people disappeared. It turns out that legend is rooted in something that really happened. This is coming from this week's episode. I have a whole series on urban legends that ended up being true, and it's a very scary listen.
About to check
So
it out.
in Canada in 1930, a fur trapper named Joe LaBelle was riding in the river in his canoe when he came to a village he had seen before. Except this time when he came upon it, it looked like everyone had left in a hurry. Food was still cooking, and a bunch of dogs were barking and super hungry as if they had been left behind. But the strangest part of all of this was in the middle of the community, there was a grave that had been disturbed. And that reminded the fur trapper of a very scary story he had heard. The legend of the Torn Rack, which was this demon that supposedly stalked the area. So he starts looking for someone who might know what happened to these people. They were a nomadic people. It didn't make any sense that they would have left all of their stuff behind.
Okay.
And that's when he finds a man in a hospital who was potentially part of the village. The man is so freaked out. He won't say anything at first, but eventually Joe gets him to talk, and he recognizes one word that the man says. Tornrak, the name of the evil deity that was potentially in the area.
Oh.
The police basically don't believe any of this, but they do acknowledge that before the disappearance, they did see blue lights in the sky that no one has been able to figure out what they were. I get more into the theories of what may have happened in this episode, and I also talk a little bit more about other urban legends that ended up being true.
Top 5 urban legends that turned out to be real. Chuck E. Cheese animatronics move on their own. Chuck E. Cheese has been long rumored to be haunted by animatronic figures that move on their own, even when the power is off. These tales were often dismissed as mere urban legends meant to spook children. However, in 2019, a former employee's testimony brought an eerie truth to light. The employee recounted how during after-hour maintenance, the animatronics would occasionally shift positions or emit sounds despite being turned down. This phenomenon was actually captured on video showing an animatronic character moving its eyes and mouth when the restaurant was closed. The unsettling footage showed the animatronic's eyes flickering to life and their mouths moving silently. One night, the employee was cleaning when they noticed an animatronic had shifted slightly from its usual position. At first, they thought it was just a trick of the light or a mistake, but then the animatronic's eyes glowed eerily in the darkened room. A soft mechanical whirring sound filled the air and its mouth began to move as if it was speaking. Desperate to prove they weren't imagining things, the employees set up a camera the next night. The footage showed the animatronics moving on their own, their eyes darting around and their mouths opening and closing in the darkness. The video spread among the staff, many of whom had had their own unsettling experiences. Some reported hearing faint, childlike laughter when the restaurant was empty, while others felt cold spots and the sensation of being watched. If you have the guts, follow for the next urban legend.
Creepy facts about your body you're gonna wish you didn't know. When you go down a drop on a roller coaster and you suddenly feel your stomach drop, it's not just you feeling nervous. What you're feeling are your organs actually moving. Have you ever noticed that an older person in your life seems to have very long, large ears? That's because your ears will never stop growing. Across your lifetime, you will spend an average of an entire year just sitting on a toilet. When we see brains outside of the human body, they usually look pretty solid, but your brain, while inside your skull while you're alive, is actually very soft. It's like melted butter soft.
Body of water.
Mermaids do not just live in the oceans. Let's talk about it. So I've been seeing a lot of people in my recent videos when I talk about the mermaids that was in a dam or in a river in Zimbabwe, and a lot of people was like, well, Zimbabwe is landlocked. How can these mermaids be there? There's no sea. Well, they don't have to just inhabit the sea. Mermaids can live in any natural waters, which includes rivers, lakes, springs, dams. If you want to be honest, I've heard more stories about these mermaids being in the rivers than in the sea, if you want to be honest, especially in these different African countries and Caribbean places. Like in Jamaica, they call them river mama. And lots of the different stories that I've heard from my followers and just people around and that I've looked into, everyone that I know is always talking about like people getting abducted by the river when they're going to wash their clothes or they're getting water and stuff like that, and mermaids abduct them. Yeah, they are in the sea, but like I said, mermaids are everywhere. They're in any natural bodies of water. No, they can't be in a man-made lake or a man-made pond or river. Anything that's a natural body of water they can be in.
Stay weird.
And there's too many stories to not believe this. Like, too many stories around the world.
Threat.
Man, time travel? Elon, what the hell? Tesla
You
logo.
guys see the protests that are happening in France? Crazy. BlackRock is heavily involved in this Mercosur trade deal. It's a long-planned EU free trade agreement and would create one of the world's largest trading zones covering 780 million people.
Sounds good.
Except it's not.
Why? Why?
Because it will primarily be about agriculture. It takes away all regulations that Europe has strongly held to with pesticides, with all these things that go into foods, like American food. All the farmers of Europe will like basically lose their jobs. But so far, only 2 countries have voted yes on it in Europe, and the rest, including Macron, has said no. But like all these protests are happening, and like all these farmers are literally like dumping manure.
Say
And
what
like,
you will about the French, they know how to protest.
dude, they really do. They like brought a whole tractor of potatoes and just dumped in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
And like people couldn't drive over a pile of potatoes.
That's hilarious.
And this is where France government goes. Pfft. So there's multiple layers to why these farmers are protesting. There is this cow disease going around France and other European countries right now. It's literally called lumpy skin disease.
Oh, goodness.
It's like a less than 5% fatality for these cows, and it doesn't spread to humans. France and other European countries, if one cow has this disease, they'll come in and kill all your cows.
Does it affect their meat, I guess?
No, it doesn't.
So they're just taking advantage of the situation.
Yes, but that BlackRock is heavily involved in this agriculture and the cow stuff. So like BlackRock, they're buying these companies, so they basically want to be the providers of food for Europe.
Dude, for real. Like, I know that
own
that's
all the
happening.
farmland.
Because it's
they're-
already happened here. They're already done with us because it's happened.
Yeah.
And
Onto the French!
It's scary, bro. All that
Alright,
control.
flat earthers, there it is. This old map right here says it all. Follow now because we're about to show you some craziness that all says flat earth. So we start off right here, you see where it says circular Antarctica.
Yep.
Which means it circles everything. Like our entire area. Now, here's another cool, crazy thing. When you zoom into the middle here,
It's the core.
Incognito Landia in the middle of our realm. Another interesting share with you that I just found. Still doing some research here and getting stuff translated. I'll show you more. But if you go over here where we have Africa, right? Check this out.
Yeah.
What are these places? All these little islands. Looks like this is Artemis. There. Here.
Chunks of land.
Really, really interesting. Anyways, I thought this was kind of cool. I wanted to share it with you as I dive more into this map and this entire book. Lots of maps here to go over. So please, like, follow, and share. And let me know what you think in the comments.
Okay.
Why they telling me, they told me, J man, be careful around Lil Zay, they drinking blood and eating brains. Where did that come from? Where did that whole scenario come from, bro? Break that shit down to me.
Drink blood and eat brains, folks. We started that shit, folks.
Like, what does that mean, bro? Like, don't be starting that shit. Like, what you mean we started that? That's like vampire type shit, gang.
No, I already know it's like vampire type shit, but
is that like that's a real whoop?
That's real deal. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, bro.
That's real deal.
Don't fry my brain.
We drink blood and eat brains.
Wow.
What does it mean when we reach?
Okay, wasn't expecting that. So it can be a bit of to process that. Tell me down below, man. What do you guys think? I'm gonna need you guys' help with this one.
The point for what we're disguising the towers inside of crosses and churches, placing them over elementary school cafeterias, over high school football fields. In fact, this one has two, disguised as palm trees where you run your errands, in the parking lot of the grocery store where you buy the food you eat, on the side of almost every road and in almost every neighborhood. And the nicer the neighborhood, the nicer the fake tree. Or how about the random fluorescent lighting that's been popping up around cities that apparently requires more than a bulb, pole, fixture, and wiring? I believe this is us slowly consenting to the beast system, which has always revealed itself on the outskirts of the cities, and subtly within, because even the double-cross power lines resemble the satanic Leviathan cross. The full Leviathan cross has a Ouroboros, which is a symbol that has surfaced along with many of the tech companies.
Notice, so they just putting in front of our faces.
To add to the apocalypse vibe, I just believe that Africa, yes, the continent, may be splitting apart. A massive crack stretching several kilometers made a sudden appearance in Kenya in 2018 and has been gradually growing ever since. In fact, several cracks in various countries in Africa have opened. But thankfully, this is not a sign the world is ending, because this splitting process has been happening for millions of years. This area sits atop a juncture of 3 tectonic plates that are very slowly peeling away from each other. And over a period of a few more million years, not only will this movement break Africa apart, but it will create a brand new ocean. There are still some big unknowns, but what scientists do know is that it is splitting at a rate of roughly 7 millimeters annually. And hey, some people consider 7 millimeters to be pretty hefty.
Nah, y'all, this shit right here is crazy because half of the country just lost service at the same damn time. Reports are saying network outages hitting half of the United States right now. I'm talking Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Virginia, and many more. They said whole cities lit up red, showing the outage on the map. Had phones glitching, internet dropping, calls not going through, people apps was freezing, everything. Company like, nah, y'all shit, it was just a internal network issues. But people looking at it sideways like, all these places at the same time? The crazy part is, this shit popped off right when JD Vance went to go meet with officials that was in Denmark and Greenland. So y'all let me know, is that all just a little coincidence or is something else to it? But we gotta keep it real, y'all. When millions of people experience the same thing at the same time, you gotta start asking questions. Y'all let me know down below in the comments. Did y'all experience this outage? Do you got Verizon? Is your shit still up? Let me know.
Bruce Lee was murdered because he was bringing Eastern spirituality into Western scientism. Like, imagine believing that the most disciplined and supreme martial artist of his time would die from a simple headache tablet. The idea is ludicrous. The official reports claiming that he died from a cerebral edema is only a half-truth. He was poisoned. The odds of him dying from that medication is millions to one, even according to the official narrative. They even went to lengths to claim that he died from hashish, or cannabis, which has never happened to this day. In reality, it's probably soft disclosure that his cannabis was laced. He was developing too much influence, and he threatened the power structures being put into place. Trouble began to emerge in Hong Kong with the film Enter the Dragon, between Bruce Lee and the Chinese film producers that quote-unquote made him. Notably, Raymond Chow was rumored to be the prime suspect of his death. So the conflict escalated when Bruce Lee accepted the lead role in that film. He was drawn to the way that they portrayed martial arts and the deeper philosophy behind it. He felt called to the US to influence a different outlook of the Eastern world, which he surely has. See, Bruce couldn't be controlled. The triads pressured him to sign exclusive film deals, but he refused. Raymond knew he was losing Bruce to the US studios, thus losing his golden goose. And Bruce was disrupting the power structure of the martial art film industry, and that made him a target. See, he was even planning to create his own film company, using many stuntmen such as Jackie Chan, and that would have eventually dominated both Hollywood and the international box offices. And they couldn't let that happen. So his first collapse would occur in a Hong Kong movie set, likely due to laced hashish, which he used often. And when he went to the hospital, doctors found no cause and gave him a clean bill of health. He then spent months in Hollywood with no issues, but the moment he returned to Hong Kong, he mysteriously dies in the hands of the same producer, Raymond Chow, and Betty Ting. On the day of his death, Betty stated that Bruce wasn't feeling well, so she gave him Equigesic, which is just a combination of meprovimate and aspirin, only for him to never wake up again. So it wasn't just a pill, but a combination of whatever was laced in his cannabis that was fatal. Bruce Lee held many spiritual concepts of self-mastery, free thought, and unlimited human potential that started influencing the Western mindset. But again, they don't want a merging of science, spirit, and mind in a single individual, because if that happens, a person will start asking too many questions they don't want to ask. And if you think his death was an accident, what about his son Brandon Lee? One of the only few people in Hollywood history to be shot and killed on a movie set, despite blanks being used. What are the odds that both father and son would die in such highly unusual and improbable ways? The truth is clear. Whatever the true cause was, Bruce Lee's death was no accident, and neither was his son's Brandon. What should be remembered is how Bruce Lee lived his life is far more important than how he lost it.
Bruce Lee, man, legend. Love Enter the Dragon, bro. Actually, one of my favorite movies of all times, man. He's about to dominate the film industry, bro. Tragic.
That Jake Paul is running around with a lace front beard after Anthony Joshua beat that ass. So a celebrity beautician is saying that one of her colleagues is installing a lace front beard for Jake Paul because of that big ass jaw after Anthony Joshua rocked it. Oh, you don't believe me, right? Look at this shit.
One of my very good friends is a grader for film and TV, so as you can imagine, she meets a lot of people. I woke up to this text message from her today. Girl, one of my girls just installed a lace front beard on Jake Paul. He's fucked up from that jaw surgery, but doesn't want the public to know. He's paying out the ass for glam.
When I saw the replay of that knockout and I saw his jaw move to a whole different side of his face, I said, that shit broke. Anthony Joshua almost took the whole bottom half of his face off. And how much of titanium they had to put in his mouth? Whoa. How many surgeries he had to have on that mouth? Mind you, we already knew something was wrong with that jaw. The last time they was interviewing him, he sounded like he had a bowl of rocks in his mouth. Jake Paul said he got 4 plates in his jaw. No wonder you getting that lace front beard. You don't even recognize yourself no more. No funny shit? I need y'all to go side by side with Jake's picture and this picture right here. That look exactly like the shit Jake got on his face. Just a different color. Well, I'm glad we don't have to take Jake Paul's boxing career serious anymore. Lace front beard Jake. I'm out.
Michael Jackson has been long dead. Michael Jackson died. Listen, everybody don't know this. Michael Jackson died. When the thing came down and he had the curl and it caught fire. And everybody thought he lost pigment in the skin, but he lost his life. And they replaced it with a white one. That's why he came out with the song, "It Don't Matter If You're Black or White." That's what I'm on.
Did you notice the terrifying shadow on the wall? When Cynthia Erivo played Jesus, no one realized she received free punishments for blaspheming God. Cynthia completely subverted the role of Jesus. In the musical Jesus Christ Superstar, Cynthia didn't just reinterpret the role, she completely flipped the image of Jesus. She changed the gender and then stepped onto the crucifixion scene, wearing long razor-sharp nails and oversized glittering earrings that threw off the entire tone. People were confused, but what happened next was genuinely disturbing. First, during the crucifixion moment, Cynthia suddenly went weak, so weak she couldn't stand on her own. Adam had to step in fast to catch her. This wasn't part of the show. You can literally see 2 security guards positioned right behind her, ruining the stage silhouette and clearly there to prevent a real medical emergency. Second, her shadow on the wall changed shape in a way that looked nothing like her real body. Fans slowed down the footage frame by frame, and the outline looked strangely distorted, almost like a warning that mocking something sacred invites something dark. Third, her hands showed something unnatural. People used to joke that her big hands were just long nails creating an illusion. Not this time. When you zoom in, her fingers look like they're actually elongating, thin, stretched, and wrong. At this point, even people who aren't religious are saying this production has crossed way too many lines. Maybe it's time someone stepped in and stopped this performance for good.
They playing in our fucking faces right now. And I'm getting disgusted. There's no way you would think to go this way. No, count me out. Go that way. Where land is. Why drive car where boat go? Why even make road where boat go? Now where is this place, bro? Cause remind me not to never ever travel abroad, because the farther you go, the more spooky it gets. Yes, this is another conspiracy. This is a conspiracy because how the fuck did you build concrete where no ground plug go? How the fuck did you build this to where it's stable enough to handle 40 diesels?
Good question.
5 o'clock traffic in Dallas. That bitch is sinking. I see the traffic light. The traffic is light because, yeah.
At this point, y'all, just stay inside. Just stay inside. Because people don't even know what to believe in anymore. So now we've got different sightings of recordings of what people are calling frogmen in Mexico. Now, I don't know why these things are popping up and appearing in different parts of Mexico, but this is very unusual. My question is, who is recording these things? Steven Spielberg? I mean, this thing has its own lighting and everything. Now, I'm not saying it's not fake, but it seems like the whole internet is eating this thing up. But didn't we just go through this, y'all? Where are they fighting these things? And why is it raining in one spot, but not the others? Look at this.
Good catch.
What do they got going on in Mexico? I mean, what is going on in them deep underground bases? Now, didn't we just go through the same thing with that parasitic plant that fell out of the sky in Peru, and that guy was making it seem like it was a big deal that it came from space, but just created in the lab? All I'm saying is, y'all, there is something big brewing behind the scenes. P. Diddy, parasitic plant, Frogman, Epstein files released, and I feel like there's going to be a lot more coming. In fact, I don't even think we're going to get GTA 6, because this is GTA 6. And what do you think about this video being AI, man? Let me know down in the comments below. The shit is here, y'all. Let's get it. Peace out.
It's fooling people, man. I guarantee you, bro, some people, the AI is getting so real, man. You can't tell if it's real or fake anymore, bro. You can't distinguish fiction from reality. Seekers, if you guys made it with me to the end, you're a true seeker seeking the truth. I greatly appreciate the support. Make sure you guys give a thumbs up, comment down below, hit that post notification bell. You guys are going to catch you in the next one, man. I'm out. Appreciate you.
Why are there so many flies? Well, most likely there is a dead body in there. So I went in this other videos to look for an update. And then 3 days later, the flies are still there and there's no context. Did this guy call the police? Did he let anyone know? This is crazy. She fell to death in front of her son while she was trying to take a selfie. This is absolutely heartbreaking what happened here, and honestly, no selfie is worth risking your life for. On the 30th of August, this absolute tragedy unfolded. Now, Elisabetta Guschina was a 45-year-old mum of 2 who happened to be celebrating her birthday in St. Petersburg. And she was a total adrenaline junkie. She loved doing like wild, crazy stunts. She loved extreme sports and just pushing the limits and doing crazy things. She actually decided to do a crazy bungee jump as like a birthday treat for herself. And honestly, this thing is like my worst nightmare. You could not pay me enough money to do that. But some people seem to just really enjoy doing this kind of stuff. And she did do the bungee jump that day. Her 22-year-old son was actually stood with her while she did the incredible leap. She was really, really brave.
and she was actually taking a selfie after the fact, just to kind of like celebrate the occasion. Horrifically, when she tried to take a step backwards and take the selfie, she lost her footing, and I've seen it reported that like it was slightly slippy, and she fell off a 90-meter high platform. Now, I believe either her safety harness wasn't actually attached at that point, or it wasn't like set the right length in order to save her, and she ultimately hit the ground.
Man, all for a selfie, bro? I don't think I ever go bungee jumping. See, because y'all go bungee jumping? That's too much of a risk for me. Wait. Bathroom again, bro.
If you see a boy on a red tricycle, don't wave, don't smile, and whatever you do, never take the snow globes. It was late September, just after 9 p.m. I was walking home when I heard the squeak of a tricycle behind me. A boy, maybe 10 years old, rode past and stopped at the corner. Pale skin, messy black hair, old sweater. In the tricycle's basket were snow globes. Maybe a dozen, no price, no sign. You want one? He asked quietly. I almost said no, but one globe caught my eye. It had a tiny house inside, my house, same porch, same mailbox. Even the light in my bedroom window was on. I asked how he made it. He just smiled. They're always right. I gave him $1. He handed it to me and pedaled away without looking back. That night, I stared at the globe. The little light in the window flickered. Then, inside, I saw a tiny figure, moving. It looked like me, sleeping. Around 3 a.m., I woke to a sound. The squeak of a tricycle, right outside my window. I looked out. The boy's tricycle was there. When I turned back, I saw him. The boy was standing in the corner of my room, smiling.
1,000
hell no.
Reality star Amy Slayton is facing drug and child endangerment charges after being arrested at a zoo in Tennessee. Officers were responding to reports of a customer allegedly being bitten by a camel, but were overtaken by suspicious odours coming from the guest's vehicle. Amy was arrested along with another man, and they're both facing charges of 2 counts of child endangerment and illegal possession of Schedule 1 and Schedule 6 drugs. She and her sister's weight loss journey have both been followed by TLC for 5 seasons, and Amy's welcomed 2 kids on the show. Officers have not shared any more details about the camel bite.
Kendrick Johnson was a 17-year-old boy from Georgia. After not returning home from school, his mother reported him missing. His body was found upside down in a vertical rolled-up mat in the gym of his high school. It was assumed that Kendrick had been reaching for his gym shoes, which he kept inside the mat, and had gotten. Kendrick's family was not convinced, and they believed it was a covered-up murder. Kendrick's body was wider than the diameter of the mat, leading some to believe that he was rolled in it. The shoes Kendrick was wearing looked to be placed on top of him after his entry. There was also about an hour of footage missing from the school's security cameras. The family decides to do a second autopsy, but they find Kendrick's organs missing and his body filled with newspaper. Organs are never found, but the autopsy reveals there was blunt force trauma to his neck. The family believes that 2 fellow students murdered Kendrick, but the case is being covered up because of Kendrick's race and because of the police connections that the students had. But there has been insufficient evidence to prove this in a court. Was this a tragic accident or something more sinister?
Nobody has been able to explain this creepy viral video. For the past 11 years, a man who runs a TikTok account by the name of Dude, My House is Haunted has been pretty confident that there has been some paranormal activity within his home. He claims that ever since his wife passed away, there have been some strange and unusual things going on. So eventually, he decided to leave cameras out and record what was happening and post it onto TikTok, which is the footage that you are about to see. In this video, you can see a chair seemingly moving on its own. It moves somewhat slowly until it suddenly is violently pulled into the corner by the kitchen. A mysterious, shadowy figure can be seen moving behind the chair, and then suddenly out of nowhere, the chair is thrown into the kitchen. Now, of course, we're not really sure what happened in this video, but I'm having a hard time coming up with an explanation for this one.
That's cop, bro. You can tell.
A prison officer from Birmingham has been sent to prison herself for having an intimate relationship with a prisoner. Shania Begum is 25 years old. She's been working in HMP Birmingham since 2018. Now, the prison is Category B, which means that the prisoners aren't considered as dangerous as in a Category A prison, but they are still held to quite high security standards. At first, she was a respectable member of staff until she began having an S relationship with an inmate in 2022. This was Joshua Mullings. Now, fellow prison officers had actually heard rumours and started to get suspicious about the pair's relationship. They knew that they needed hard evidence in order to do something about this. They therefore installed small security cameras into cupboards. Now, this actually did enable them to catch the pair engaging in S activity. On the 3rd of October 2022, she was arrested. Although she did express remorse for her actions, she was given a 16-month prison sentence herself.
The mom who was walking her dog.
She was a prison guard and she fell for prison, bro. Timeless though. How many stories I wonder, man, you've heard that never ends well.
Dog and vanished into thin air in broad daylight has been missing for 6 days now. Here's everything we know so far. On Friday, the 27th of January, 45-year-old Nicola Bully parked her car at her daughter's primary school, St. Michael's on Wire. This was sometime before 9 a.m. and she dropped off her 6 and her 9-year-old at school, where she took her dog Willow on a walk just up the road. Now at 9:01, it is reported she joined a Teams call for work on her phone. She didn't have her camera on or her microphone on, it was muted, but she was on the call. Now at 9:15, she was seen walking east up the River Wire tow path, which as you can see is just up from the school. 9:15 in the morning, broad daylight. Then again at 9:20, she is also seen again by a man in his 70s who was walking a white fluffy dog. Now, this is where things get mysterious. At 10:15, her dog Willow was found loose. No lead, no harness, and it's reported he was really agitated when he was found, but crucially, the dog was not wet, indicating that at no point had he been in the river. Now, the witness who found the dog also found something crucial. Just up the tow path was a bench. Now, on that bench was the dog's harness, dog's leash, and Nicola's phone. Now, Nicola's phone had not disconnected from the Teams call at this point. It was still on, still connected, and still live. Where was Nicola? Now, in between the time of the dog being found and at 10:30 a.m., the local primary school that her daughters attend were alerted that the dog had been found loose. That's when at 10:30 they rang her husband Paul, saying, "We found your dog without Nicola." That was when alarm bells were raised for her husband, and he ultimately called the police. This whole event unraveled 6 days ago now, and we have had air efforts, land and water searches, yet nothing has come to light or any clues about what happened to Nicola. It is like she has vanished into thin air on a safe path near a school in broad daylight. As we are wrapping up day 6 and tomorrow entering day 7, police are relentlessly searching and asking for any witnesses to come forward. We will be updating you on all the latest. Stick with us.
Scary, man. She just seems like she just dropped off the face of the earth. The dog was the only thing that was linked to her. They couldn't find anything else. Be careful. Where the hell he at?
Guys, I have a shocking update on this case. I know a lot of you guys were really confused as to why this woman murdered her entire family after finding out her husband had cancer. I was confused. I kind of knew in the back of my mind there was something else going on because it didn't really make sense. So it turns out that Emily was in serious trouble for stealing money from her company. Apparently, she stole over $660,000. She was the director of operations for a chicken wing company, and it's been said that since 2023, she had been transferring money from the company into her own account. She was under investigation, and her company stated that she had a meeting a week before she took the lives of her entire family. And this isn't Emily's first time getting caught stealing money. Apparently in 2016, when she was working at a pub, her and her boyfriend at the time, they stole around $11,000 from the pub, and she got fired. Now, does this justify taking out your entire family? Absolutely not, but I think it does answer some of your questions. She definitely felt the pressure of her husband not being around in the near future and how that would impact her financially. But also, she knew that she was most likely going to go to prison for stealing this money. And anyone who's going to defend her and say that, well, she stole this money because her husband had cancer and she needed the money, well, apparently she started stealing this money way before she found out her husband had cancer.
This woman killed her daughter by feeding her Mountain Dew. Tamara Brooks is a 41-year-old woman from Ohio. In January 2022, her 4-year-old daughter tragically passed away. Tamara and her partner reportedly found their daughter unresponsive on the 21st of January. They rang an ambulance and the child was raced to hospital. She sadly didn't make it. When she was examined post-mortem, it was discovered that she died from severe malnutrition and suffered diabetes-related complications. She had been fed Mountain Dew through a baby bottle, and the child's teeth were actually rotting so badly that she barely had any teeth left. The child had never been taken to a dentist, and Tamara was said to have mixed baby formula with fizzy drinks. Tamara pleaded guilty to involuntary manslaughter and has been sentenced to 9 years in prison. The child's dad, Christopher Hope, has also been charged with his daughter's death. He will be sentenced next month. Horrifically, this is not Tamara's only child, and certainly not the only child to have suffered in her care. Her son fell into a coma when he was 4 years old from undiagnosed diabetes. Tamara then failed to take him to follow-up appointments with doctors.
This man locked his head in the...
Really? 4-year-old daughter some Mountain Dew? What is wrong with people, man? The fact they said she had diabetes, you know, I'm sure freaking Mountain Dew and pass.
Cage to quit smoking. Ibrahim Yusel from Turkey took such a drastic measure in 2013 after he saw his own father pass away from lung cancer. Ibrahim had been smoking 2 packs of cigarettes every day since he was 16, and all his other attempts to quit had failed. So this time he used copper wire to build a cage around his head that stopped him from physically putting a cigarette in his mouth. And to ensure he didn't cave, he gave the key to his family.
He's dedicated, bro. You gotta get that to him.
Has a zombie apocalypse started in China? Now, a video was released a couple of days ago of what seemed like a man getting up after being presumed dead. And this apparently came from a hospital/morgue somewhere inside of China. Now, this panic of a zombie apocalypse starting has come from not only this video, but also because of a couple of reports going around the internet explaining that if a zombie apocalypse was to begin, then China could be the epicenter of it. Now, this grainy black and white video has been viewed over 3.7 million times, and has basically made the internet do what the internet does best: prepare for a zombie apocalypse. But the big question is this real? Are these claims real? Probably not. But then again, the 2020s have been a bit fucking crazy, so who knows? Now, this video was all that apparently came out, but if anything else is to happen, I will let you know. Now, quickly send this to someone who you would want in your zombie apocalypse group, and let me know how long you think you'd survive.
How long y'all surviving?
Serial killer on TikTok. So this is just according to the comment section. The video poster didn't specify who it was, but the commenters all think that it is this banned account called HasslerHoff6969. She had discovered this really strange sequence of events on TikTok. So she started by mentioning the man appeared to be in a psychotic state, and his wife and kids were allegedly having him committed. From there, she spirals into how she discovered this series of videos where the guy is treating this blow-up doll like a girlfriend, and his content is becoming increasingly alarming. Because I know that doesn't give serial help. This isn't the person in question. His account was banned and all his videos are not. This is just something similar. She goes on to explain that the guy wears a human-like mask and creates dark videos in his basement with scary music, which, once again, sounds like horror. But here's where things get weird, and probably is why his account was banned. So his posts were filled with a lot of anger and hate towards women. He was calling them evil, mentioning things like being nice, and he was going to be involuntarily committed by his wife and children. So maybe it was just anger about that. But this creator is very worried, just genuinely worried for the state of mind he's in. I haven't seen the videos, but they're just expressing that they really hope other people in his life are aware of the types of videos he's creating, and that people can intervene and get him help before things escalate further. So we're here for longer videos.
So should I go down that rabbit hole? Try to find him? light out. Where's he at? A lot of people always be trying to do weird things in the dark, bro.
This massive animatronic breathes, and there's a video of it breathing at the end if you just want to go skip and see that. It's 30 feet long or 10 meters long, and don't get me wrong, it's absolutely gorgeous. However, I would be terrified to go near this thing. Once again, my account is about megalophobia and creepy things that I find creepy. But yeah, this thing is absolutely massive. Look at it compared to those two people up there. Also, damn girl, for free. It's an installation that's in London this month, and I think it's going to be there next month too. Maybe I'll actually go look at it because I am going to London next month. But it's in front of Somerset House, which is like an art kind of gallery place. But the fact that it breathes creeps me out so bad. Like, I'm just waiting for it to like break that glass and like escape and just like pummel people. Like, I'm going to be ready to fight. It's by an artist called Ty Shani, and it's called The Spell or The Dream. And she's sleeping, and I'm just waiting for her to wake up and wreak havoc. Watch this video of her breathing and let me know how you're feeling, and would you go near this thing?
Are they really trying to breathe? Just inflating her there?
Some of you guys wanted more context on this case after I made this video, so don't worry, I read about this case so you don't have to. So this is Seth Welsh and Tatiana Fusari, and they're conservative Christian parents from Michigan who in 2018 let their 10-month-old daughter starve to death, and apparently didn't think there would be any consequences for that. In a pretty ridiculous 911 call, Tatiana called 911 at 10 a.m. the morning after she put her daughter down at 3:30 p.m., saying that she was unresponsive and she thought she was dead. But she also tells the 911 operator that she called her lawyer before calling the 911 operator, which is so sus. Also, who puts their baby down at 3:30 p.m. and doesn't check on them until 10 o'clock the next morning? Seth, the dad, also was notorious for believing in survival of the fittest. He didn't think that children should be vaccinated because he thought everyone that wasn't strong enough should die. And he apparently didn't think that his daughter would grow up to be strong enough to work on their farm and therefore wasn't feeding her. Tatiana knew something was wrong with her daughter, but she refused to call a doctor because she didn't trust the medical institution and for religious purposes. Anyways, both of them got life in prison, Seth without parole, and Tatiana has to do at least 25 years. Also, this is what their faces looked like when they found out that for starving a baby, you get life in prison.
Look at this stupid face, bro.
Grace Mullane was born on December 2nd, 1996. After she finished and graduated from the University of Lincoln, she decided that she now had time to travel the world and celebrate her hard work before committing to a full-time job. Grace traveled to 2 other countries before heading to New Zealand. On November 19th, 21-year-old Grace arrived to New Zealand, and 11 days later, she reached the city of Auckland. She checked into a hostel on Queen where she shared her room with other travelers. On Saturday, December 1st, 2018, Grace left the hostel before 6 p.m. and headed to the city to meet with someone that she met on Tinder. Texts show that Grace wasn't sure whether to meet with this person. But after some more texting, she decided to go on this date with this man named Jesse Kempson. During the date, Grace was texting her friend, telling her that she really liked this guy and that the date was going great. Surveillance shows Grace and Jesse meeting and heading to a restaurant. While at the restaurant, Grace got up to go to the bathroom and Jesse was seen searching through her purse. After 9:30 p.m. that night, both of them left the restaurant and headed down the street. The next day was December 2nd and Grace's 22nd birthday. Her friends and family were sending Grace birthday wishes, and oddly enough, Grace was not responding to anyone. Her parents contacted the Auckland police and reported her missing on December 5th. After police investigated Grace's whereabouts on December 1st, they found out that she met with Jesse Kempson. On December 5th, Jesse was asked to come to the station to answer some questions. Jesse told police that around 10 p.m. that night, him and Grace said their goodbyes and parted ways. After further investigating, police find out that Jesse lied, and surveillance shows both of them in the elevator making their way to Jesse's apartment. The morning after, Jesse is seen entering the hotel elevator alone. He left the hotel in the morning and went to buy a suitcase and cleaning supplies. Several hours later, Jesse is seen meeting with another woman who he matched with on Tinder. Later that night, Jesse is seen putting 2 suitcases on a trolley and putting it in his car. The next day, Jesse was seen on surveillance buying a shovel.
4K.
On December 8th, Jesse was interviewed again, and now his story drastically changed. He now claimed that they went into his hotel room and started having sex, and that she asked him to hold her throat, and he then blacked out. He told police where he buried her body, and after an autopsy was done, they concluded that she was strangled. Jesse was sentenced to life in prison.
What the hell is that? Sound like a walker, bro. The Walking Dead. Seekers, if you guys made it with me to the end of the video, your true seeker is seeking the truth. I really appreciate the support. Make sure you guys give a thumbs up, comment down below. You guys are going to catch you in the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, YouTube.